could you just kind of give me a brief introduction to yourself and your work?
Yeah, so I'm Olivia M. Healy, and basically I studied illustration at Falmouth University, which is when I started creating the tarot deck. And I create work that's like really focused about kind of ethereal like bodies that are very feminine, but not too like strictly like grounded in a time frame, I would say. So they're like very colorful, but not necessarily like dressed as we are today or anything.
Yeah, they are very colorful. Is that one? I see a poster behind you. Is that one of the cards?
Yeah, it's not a card, it's just a picture I did, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's very much like your style.
Yeah, kind of like big, larger than life sort of beings. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said the idea first came to you when you were at university. Is that what you said?
Yeah. It was like self-directed work for the second half, so like a year and a half of the course. And yeah, it was my last year that I thought of doing the tarot deck. I think in the actual like time frame of the few months of the course, and I handed actually only in like 4 or 5 designs because obviously it is a lot of work.
Yes,
but yeah, so then it took me like 6 years to like finish everything, and it went through a lot of reiterations. So that was in 2016 that I started it, and then like the actual illustrations that ended up being on the cards started in 2018. But the kind of once I got that like the like actual kind like visual language right that I wanted for it, I think I did the full major arcana in like a month, and just like went through them, and then it was kind of being like more finesse for the suit, just because like there's so many, like my compositions were really like one solid figure, and then you're adding like 9 wands to it, or like 9 cups, so then the composition had to be played with quite a lot for the rest of them. Yeah.
That is so interesting. So the major arcana came more quickly, it sounds like.
I think I've been working on them so much that once I knew exactly like the direction I wanted, I was like, I know what I need for each card, and just kind of ran through it. Yeah.
But I mean, now it's out there in the world, so how does that feel?
It's good. I mean, I always still get like an urge like, oh, I want to redo a tarot, like redo the tarot deck, but I'm like, wait, like there's no point right now anyways. Like it was nice for like a second edition to change things a little bit or make something different. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. So
why tarot for you? How did you get interested in
I was like, especially in university, I feel like there's so much going on. I was such a big lucid dreamer. I still am. Even last night was like a weird dream moment for me, but like so I was kind of thinking in like kind of like getting into like the kind of like psychic premonition, like kind of exploring your subconscious. I think when you're doing illustration, that is a really fun thing to like learn to use like a symbolic language while exploring that within yourself. It's more accessible than just like reading an article and trying to illustrate that with symbolism. It's nice to kind of dive deeper, I guess.
So I guess like making a deck has actually taught you a lot about the tarot and brought you closer to it.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely like the way that I explored it, kind of all these different elements that I was always interested in. And obviously, if you're an artist, you're kind of going to use art to explore it. And I thought it was a good way.
And then how about your, like, do you use tarot, or how do you use it? Do you use it for readings, or
I do use it. Sometimes I almost like am intimidated by it because it is quite like I've had like very, very accurate things, and I sometimes like don't want to know. So if I'm at a crossroads, it's almost like, will I actually use it? Because I might not, like it's almost too informative sometimes. And I like to leave things up to chance, but I do like doing like daily cards reads sometimes. And I love reading for other people.
Yeah, and do you use your own deck, or are there other decks?
That's kind of why I made it originally, because I was like, what would be the perfect deck, and I didn't really know which one would be suiting, and it kind of had my own idea of what I would want it to say and look like, and also doing it like when I look at one of my own cards, I kind of almost immediately know all the meaning behind it because I spent so long like putting that into the actual illustration. So
Mhm.
it makes it a lot easier.
So when you were, I guess, designing the deck, were there any artists or art styles or other inspirations that you were drawing from?
I was really I was drawing from ancient Egypt stuff was very inspiring. I would say kind of that the way the figures are like quite flat, and but then you have like, the detail of like the flowers and the animals. I also like Picasso, Matisse. People always say Matisse.
Yeah.
With my
yeah.
because it's blue and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We won't spoil your talk for people,
Okay.
but I do want to touch on it a little bit. So
Yeah,
the
of course.
book is called Femininity and Gender Identity.
Yeah.
So just give us a flavor of what your talk is going to address and maybe what you hope people will take away from it.
So it's gonna definitely go into like the journey of creating the deck and like all the different elements. I'd say like something I face a lot as an illustrator, like when you're in school, I would say, like, I mean, and like doing a formal illustration training, is they always ask like, why are you drawing women? Was like if we're doing a brief at the time, I don't know, like 2014, 2015, like I would just be like, yeah, for this brief, it's a female figure, but they'd be like, well, why? And I like never really knew why. That had to be explained so much, and sometimes it was like, oh, if your audience is going to be women, you should make her more girly and like more feminine rather than like big shoulders or the like vagueness. And yeah, I always kind of like push back against that, I would say. So it's sort of about just like the creation of these, I mean, they're like feminine figures, but I feel like they also have a vagueness about them because they seem kind of unhuman. I always thought of them as like an aura of a person, sort of ambiguous, colorful.
Yeah.
And yeah, just talking about that, and then kind of my explorations when I left uni, I was doing a lot of like London drag stuff. And that was a big inspiration, and kind of like femininity when it's not strictly female is kind of part of what we'll talk about. But yeah.
Cool. Oh, can't wait. Are there other decks that you recommend or think are like really interesting?
Yeah. Dream Vision Tarot deck is like a new one recently. I have the Poesis Oracle by Andrea Wan. She's like and it's an oracle deck, but it's really, really nice. I'm not sure if it like was just a Kickstarter thing, but they're very, very pretty.
Oh wow. Yeah. I can see the appeal. Yeah.
Really, really nice. And then Dream Vision Tarot deck.
Oh, that looks colorful.
It's very colorful. Yeah, really good. It's got some shiny edges.
Love it. Ooh,
pretty cards, colorful. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure this will come up in your talk as well, but do you have advice for someone who's maybe considering making their own deck?
Yeah, I would say like to have like a point of view, I guess, and like a very like an intention, just so you know like what kind of story you want to tell with the deck, I guess. And like don't rush.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to like start over. And I think everyone's looking for like their perfect deck, and when you hear people be like, this was it, like the one that you made was the one, like my favorite, I'm just like, okay, yeah, oh my god.
That's so nice. Did people say that?
Yeah, definitely. Like I get like Etsy reviews where they're like, it's like so nice to read.
Oh wow, that must feel so good.
Yeah, because I'm like, it was my perfect deck, so now it's yours. Like that's really nice.
That's lovely. Oh, well, it's a wonderful deck.
Thank you.
We're really excited to have you at the college. It's going to be a really fun weekend and an amazing talk. So
yeah, I can't wait to hear everyone and then look around and see everything.
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you so much.
I'll see you in November. Can't wait.
I'll see you then.